Hi, welcome to Yoga Selection. My name is Rod. In today's practice, we won't be using any additional yoga props, just a yoga mat. Let's get started straight away. From a kneeling position, we're working with Adho Mukha Virasana. From kneeling, make sure that your big toes are together, have your knees apart. Walk your hands out away from your knees without your hips lifting off your heels. Check that your wrists are shoulder width, hands are pressing evenly down and elbows straight. Then bring your attention to that region of the body of each leg from the knee joint back to the tops of the feet. And just notice that tendency to tip, to be heavier with the body weight towards the knees, particularly in that early part of the stay in the pose. And then re-engaging the arms, pressing the hands firmly down with the elbows straight, bring the lower shins more firmly to the floor. So we're bringing the weight off the knee region and bringing it back to that lower shin area where the lower shin meets the ankle joint, press firmly down into the floor. Building on that and going just that little bit deeper, hands pressed down, elbows straight, and the hip sockets, they move not just back but down towards the floor. You'll feel the pelvis start to compress more firmly onto the heel region. And each line in the body from the left wrist to the left hip and the right wrist to the right hip, held firm, long, straight, but still there's some space in the body for the chest to move as you breathe. And particularly as you inhale, the breastbone, the sternum bone has some freedom to move away from the pelvis. As the chest moves, the hips are held firmly back and down. Alright, let's then release. We'll come up, let's transition now to Uttanasana. We'll come up to standing first of all, have your feet hip width apart. And we use the arms as a support for the spine, so we'll start with the hands to the fronts of the legs. And as we bend forwards, keeping the spine straight, the chest open, let's begin with the hands just underneath the knee region. So in the area there at the head of the shin bone. Make sure that your big toe bases are pressing down. Your head is lifting and you're looking across the room. And quite naturally here we tend to lean the hips back. So make sure that your weight is transferring forwards into the balls of the feet so that your hips are staying more directly above your ankles. Big toe bases need to press firmly down there in order to hold the balance. And then make use of the hands against the shins. We can just gently press with the hands against the shins and we can move the chest forwards, outwards, away from the legs. As the head lifts, the back ribs move in. Make sure that your shoulders are staying back and away from your ears. So with the hands, we're currently pressing more directly back into the legs, and it gives us that leverage to lengthen the spine and open the chest. We want to maintain that, but we make a subtle shift as we now start to bend the elbows. As the elbows bend, they move out to the side and away from the legs. Keep the hands where they are, keep them pressing against the legs, but now we start to grip the skin in that shin area and lift it upwards towards the knees. And that action with the arms, it helps to further lengthen the chest out and over the legs. Elbows are bending out to the side and away from the legs. We're still keeping the spine as straight as possible, the chest as open as possible. And then let's bring the hands around to the backs of the legs, so the palms are in the calf region. And we can slide the hands that little bit lower down, more towards the back of the ankle, work to your capacity. Still the elbows bending out to the sides. And we can now start to press the hands against the backs of the legs so that we can move the back ribs closer to the legs. And then as the hands press to the backs of the legs, we can grip the skin there in that lower calf area and lift it upwards towards the backs of the knees and use that as leverage, again, to lift the chest further out and over the legs to move the back ribs further in. So we might at this point be able to comfortably reach the floor with the hands. You can try it. If not, just keep the hands to the legs. Back ribs in, the chest open, lifting over the legs. Make sure that your shoulders are lifting up and away from your neck. Okay, and then let's We don't need to stand up, we'll just transition straight away to downward facing dog pose. We just walk the hands out away from the feet, checking that the wrists are shoulder width, fingers spreading, and then we step the feet back away from the hands. Let's just find the basic shape of dog pose first, and then two really common adjustments to the pose, two ways of optimizing the pose. The first one is partially bending the knees. So let's go to that. So each leg, partially bend the knees. And notice it takes some of the stiffness from the hamstrings and the backs of the legs generally away from the pose, and it improves our ability to move our back ribs in and lift our side ribs up, particularly if we more firmly now press with our hands down into the mat. So press down with the hands, and as if stretching the mat away from the feet, it moves your back ribs in and lifts your side ribs up. And we maintain that adjustment as we now straighten the knees, but lift the heels up as we straighten our knees. So knees straight, lift the heels as high as possible so that the lower part of the shin comes towards the hands. The top part of the thigh, it moves away from the hands. Do with the heels raised, come right up onto the toes, pressing the hands down, pressing the toes down. Lift your thigh creases as high as possible upwards towards the ceiling above. And then pressing with the hands, start to move the thighs back, but without dropping the thigh creases. Thigh creases lift up, fronts of the thighs press back as we start to descend the heels back and down towards the floor. Heels press down, tops of the thighs press back, the hands press to the floor, side ribs lifting. All right, and then we'll walk our feet towards our hands and come up, Tadasana, standing in the middle of your mat, feet together, big toes, inner heels touching, shoulders over hips, hips over ankles, elbows straight. We've got the palms turned so that they're facing the sides of the body. Locate the big toe bases. You may need to briefly lift your toes to do so. The big toe base is part of the ball of the foot. Once it's pressing firmly down, you can soften the toes back to the floor. Big toe base is firm, and now find the center of each heel bone. Notice if you're leaning more to the inner or outer heel, come onto the center. As you do that, the ankles move closer together. The legs generally move closer together. The knee joints, the thigh bones, the hip sockets as well. A sense of containment from the outside towards the center line of the body. Without leaning forwards, press the big toe bases down to bring some containment, some firmness to the top section of the thigh. So that area of the thigh that roughly is level with your hands. Big toe bases press down, and that upper part of the front thigh firm, stabilize. Without leaning back, do a similar thing with the heels. Press the heels down into the floor and firm, contain that upper section of the front thigh. Maintaining that, move the back of the pelvis in and the tailbone down. As the back of the pelvis moves in, make sure that the front thighs remain stable, resisting back. Tuck the inner groins back, but bring the sitting bones forwards. Chest lift up, shoulders roll back, shoulder blades move in. Raise your arms up now to Urdhva Hastasana. Look up, check that the wrists are shoulder width, that the palms are parallel to one another, then return the gaze to look directly forwards. Lifting first of all the wrists up, but checking for the connection with the elbows, so that the wrists and elbows lifting directly up. Add to that list the armpit chest lifting up. Add to that list the side ribs lifting up, the sides of the waist lifting up. So continuous lift, wrists, elbows, armpits, side ribs, sides of the waist. But keep the tailbone in and down, the heels pressing to the floor, the big toe bases pressing to the floor as you lift the fingertips higher towards the ceiling. And then turn the palms out to the side, thumbs forwards, and lengthen the arms as they come out to the side and back down by the sides for Tadasana. We'll go to Trikonasana, hands in front of the chest, bend your knees, step the feet out, hands onto your hips, legs length distance between the feet. Lifting the ball of the left foot, turn the left foot in, lifting the heel of the right foot, turn the whole right leg out to the side, heel of the right foot aligning with the arch of the left foot. Arms extend out to the side. We'll come down to Trikonasana now, bringing the right hand to the shin or the ankle. We'll start with the left hand onto the hip. So if you normally bring the hand to the floor, for today stay on the ankle, don't go any lower than the ankle. Let's find the foundation of the pose and just scan for a moment, check it. The left heel. So left heel pressed down, and as the word foundation implies, it gives us something to build upon. And let's add to it. The left heel presses down. In addition to that, the left thigh presses back and is held stable. And it allows us to build to the level of the pelvis so that we can move the right hip in without the left thigh leaning forwards. So the left heel pressure helps us to adjust the hips. It also helps us to adjust the whole pose, including the torso. So left heel press down until you feel that the right hand is lighter in its contact. You can even hover off the right ankle. Left heel press down, and now left chest lift vertically up. The right hand is light, the left heel is firm, but now use the right hand, press against that leg in order to improve the twisting aspect of the pose. Right chest turn up, left shoulder back, turn the head to look up, and now extend the top arm up. Use the left arm to lift the left chest away from the right chest. Use the right hand to help turn the chest. Right chest up, left shoulder back. And then the left heel, the foundation of the pose. Press it down so that you can balance as you come up and out of the pose without wobbling. Hands to the hips, turn the feet to the front. Lifting the ball of the right foot, turn the foot in. Lifting the heel of the left foot, turn the whole left leg out to the side. Arms extend out to the side. Foundation of the pose, the right heel press down as you reach out to the side and down Trikonasana. Left hand to the ankle, right hand for the moment to the hip. Right heel press down, and add to that the right thigh resist back. Building on that, without the right thigh leaning forwards, move the left hip deeper into the body. Notice how the pose already starts to get taller as we do that. To make it taller still, again, the right heel press down and the right side of the chest lifted up away from the left side of the chest. You'll feel that the left hand, it's less necessary for holding the shape of the pose. We could even let it come briefly off the ankle without affecting the pose. But then we return the hand to the leg, and particularly that thumb, press it against the inner leg to improve your ability to turn. The left chest up, the right shoulder back. Turn your head to look up, and now extend the top arm up. With the left eye looking up at the fingertips of the top hand. To help stabilize the pose, right heel, the foundation, right heel press down, inhale and come all the way up. Feet to the front, hands across the chest, step the feet back together, Tadasana. Big toe base is firm, weight back into the center of the heels, ankles together, thigh bones moving, gravitating towards the center line of the body, back of the pelvis in, without pushing the front thighs forwards. Shoulder blades in, chest lift up, elbows straight, extend down into the fingertips. Hands then in front of the chest, bend your knees, step the feet back out, hands again onto the hips, A little bit wider distance for this pose. We'll be working towards Virabhadrasana 2. Left foot turn in, right leg turn out. Still with the hands on the hips, bend the right leg. Check your distance, make sure that the knee is over the ankle. So right knee over the right ankle. But as you do that, move the right inner thigh towards the knee, the right outer thigh back towards the buttock. Sink the right hip socket down without lightening the left heel. Left heel press firm to the floor. Left outer hip, you've got your hand there, move it into the body so that the left shoulder can come back over the left hip. Still with your hands on your hips, bring the elbows closer together, move your shoulder blades in and lift the chest up. Just for the time being, looking directly ahead. Keep the left shoulder back over the left hip, both sides of the chest lifting. And then come back up, straighten the feet, and then we'll turn the right foot in, the left leg out. Heel of the left foot aligning with the arch of the right foot. Don't delay bringing that right outer hip in so that we can start the pose with the spine vertical, perpendicular to the floor. And then bend the left leg. Check your distance, make sure that the knee is coming over the ankle. So stepping the feet wider may help with that, but also make sure that the knee sits more directly, vertically above the ankle. The left outer heel needs to press down to bring the knee into that position, so that the left outer thigh, it moves back towards the buttock, but without lightening the contact of the right heel. Right heel press down, right outer hip move in, right shoulder bring it back over the hip, bring the elbows closer together, move your shoulder blades in and lift your chest up. Looking straight ahead, keep that left knee directly over the ankle. And then come up, feet to the front, hands across the chest, bend your knees, step the feet back in together. Tadasana, shoulders back, shoulder blades in, chest lift up. Urdhva Hastasana, lifting the wrists, the elbows, the armpit chest, the sides of the chest, the sides of the waist, tailbone in and down. Turn the palms to face outwards, thumbs forwards, the little finger side of the wrist bring closer together. Lengthen the arms as they come out to the side, and then return them back down to the sides for Tadasana. Hands in front of the chest, bend your knees, step your feet out, hands onto your hips. Wide distance between the feet. Check that your feet are straight. Find the big toe bases. You might need to briefly lift the toes. Keeping the big toe bases firm, let the toes soften back to the floor. Feel the heels. Notice the tendency to lean more towards the inner heels. Press the outer heels down. Whilst pressing the outer heels down, squeeze the heel bones towards the skin of the inner heel. And how then we can generate improved lift through the legs, from inner knee to inner groin lift up. Pressing the big toe bases down, again that top section of the thigh, that upper third area of the front thigh resist back. Pressing the heel bones down, the outer heel bone down, move the back of the pelvis in and the tailbone down. Pressing the feet generally, big toe bases and outer heels down. Make the hips more compact, draw them inwards, lift them upwards. Notice that lift that we're building into the torso. It comes right from the base of the torso, where the inner groin area is. From the inner groins, lifting up through to the sternum bone. And then build on that. Raise your arms up, wrists, elbows, armpit chest, side ribs. From the inner groins, lift to the fingertips. Turn the palms to face outwards. Bring the arms out to the side, keeping the wrists at shoulder height. Lift your elbows up. Without dropping the elbows, squeeze your shoulders back down into the body. Without disturbing the arms, left foot turn in and right leg turn out. Without disturbing the arms, bend the right leg. Virabhadrasana 2. Use the right arm to move use the left arm to move the left side of the chest away from the sternum bone. Without dropping the left arm, turn the gaze to look over the right arm. Tuck both shoulder blades in, lift both sides of the chest up. And then inhale, come up, feet to the center, hands to the hips. Look and check the feet as straight. Shoulders roll back, shoulder blades move in, chest lift up, raise both arms up, wrists, elbows, armpit, chest, sides of the waist. From the inner groins, lift through to the fingertips, turn the palms out to the side, and lengthen the arms as you bring the arms out to the side. Keeping the wrists at shoulder height, lift your elbows up. Without dropping the elbows, contain your shoulders down, away from the ears. Without disturbing the arms, right foot in. Without disturbing the arms, left leg out. Without disturbing the arms, bend the left leg. Left hip socket sink without lightening the right heel. Shoulder blades tuck in, lift the chest without dropping the right arm. Turn the gaze to look over the left arm. Inhale and come up, feet to the front, hands across the chest. Bend your knees, step the feet back together. Tadasana. Shoulders roll back, shoulder blades move in, chest lift up. Keep the elbows straight, actively extend down to the fingertips. Let's go to Pajvakonasana. Hands in front of the chest, bend your knees, step your feet out, hands onto hips. Same distance for this pose as we had for the previous pose. Let's do a couple of variations of Pajvakonasana. Left foot turn in, right leg turn out. So full pose, we're bringing our hand down to the floor. We'll look at that shortly. But initially, let's work with the variation of the pose where we place our forearm. Firstly, it'll be the right forearm. That section of the forearm close to the elbow, we'll be placing it onto that last section of the thigh before the knee joint. Let's head there now. So we'll bend the right knee, sink the right hip down, ensure that the right knee joint is over the ankle joint, and then bring the right forearm close to the elbow there onto the thigh. Look to the screen if you're not sure. The left hand is staying onto the hip. So once we've established that basic shape, with the support of the forearm to the thigh, we can sink that right thigh bone down. The right hip socket, sink it down without lightening the left heel press firm. And then just notice that tendency to lean onto the elbow. Instead, with the elbow, with the forearm, press the thigh away so that the left chest lifts up, the left shoulder back, and then turn the head to look upwards towards the ceiling. And then inhale and come up, both hands to the hips, feet to the front, and then we'll turn around to the left side. Bend the left knee, sink the left hip, bring the left forearm down onto the thigh. Make sure that you've got sufficient distance there between the feet so that the left knee sits over the ankle. You may need to walk the right foot a little further out. With the support of the forearm to the thigh, sink the left hip socket deeper. Again, potentially you might need to increase your distance to allow that. Left hip socket sink down, but without lightening the right heel. Right heel press firm. And then eliminate that tendency to lean on the left elbow. So press the leg away with the forearm so that the right chest lifts up, and then the right shoulder back, and we turn the head to look up. And then inhale and come all the way up. Feet to the front, hands across the chest and step the feet back in together, Tadasana. Inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, arms out to the side and down. Inhale, arms raise up. And exhale, out to the side and down. Let's look at a fuller version of the pose now. The option of bringing the hand down to the floor beside the inner heel. Top arm will go vertical in this particular variation of Pajvakonasana. Hands in front of the chest, bend, step the feet out wide distance. We'll begin with hands on hips, left foot turn in, right leg turn out, bend the right leg. Bring the right hand down, fingertips to the floor beside the inner heel. Make sure that the right arm is positioned firmly against the knee so that we can hold the knee stable, fixed in position as we move the right hip socket deeper into the body. It moves to the front of the body as it deepens. Notice how the left thigh tends to lean forwards as it does. So left heel press down, left thigh press back, and then the right hip move in. Top shoulder, left shoulder, bring it back and keep it back as we move that right hip socket still deeper into the body. Right fingertips press to the floor, left chest lift up away from the floor. Turn the head to look up and then extend the top arm up with the right eye looking up at the fingertips of the top hand. And then inhale and we'll come all the way up, hands to the hips. Turn the feet around to the left side. Heel of the left foot aligning with the arch of the right foot. Bend the front leg. Bring the left fingertips to the floor beside the inner heel. Once the hand has come down, sink the left hip socket lower, but without lightening the right heel. Right heel press firm to the floor. Stabilize the left knee, fix it in position as you move the left hip socket deeper into the body. Restrain the right thigh back as you move the left hip socket deeper into the body. Right shoulder bring back, keep it back as you move the left hip socket deeper into the body. And then extend the top arm up. Use the top arm to lift the right side of the chest away from the left side of the chest. And then inhale and come all the way up. Feet to the front, hands across the body, and step the feet back in together. Pajvakonasana, hands to the chest, bend, step the feet out, legs length distance between the feet. We'll turn the left foot more deeply in now so that we can turn the pelvis and the chest to face directly out to the side. So left outer hip turn forwards, left inner groin turn back. Bring the elbows closer together, back ribs move in and chest lift up. And then we'll come forwards, keeping the spine straight, the chest open, and lift the head, look across the room. And then we'll bring the hands down onto the front shin. The left shin press back, the left heel press down, so that the hands get lighter. We lift the head up more and the back ribs are more contained. And then the hands just gently pressing against the right leg to improve your ability to move the sternum bone forwards. So left heel press down, left shin press back. In addition to that, with both hands, just pressing against the right leg to move the chest forwards. And then hands to hips and come up and turn the feet around to the left side. Right foot deeply turned in with the shoulders upright over the hips. Draw the elbows closer. Move your back ribs in, leading with the chest. Come forwards. Concave spine. Pause there. So right big toe base press down. Right knee straight. Right outer hip lift up and back. Back leg, left outer heel press down, knees straight, and turn the left inner groin back. Bring your hands then to the shin, but notice that tendency to sink onto the hands to prop yourself up. Instead, right shin press back, right heel press down. You move your back ribs in, lift your head up, and then adding to that the contact of the hands. Just gently pressing against the left leg in order to gain the leverage to move the chest further forwards and away from the pelvis. Hands then back to the hips and come up. And let's keep the feet apart. We'll walk the feet out a little wider in their distance. Look down at each foot, check that it's straight. So outer edges of the feet parallel. Big toe bases press firm to the floor with your knees straight. Lift and contain the front thigh area. Outer heels press to the floor, and as if squeezing the heel bone towards the skin of the inner foot. Move the back of the pelvis in and the tailbone down. With your hands on your hips, shoulders roll back, shoulder blades move in. Lift the chest up and then leading with the chest as you come forwards. And as we've just done there, let's bring the hands to the fronts of the legs, so close to the knee joint, just under the knee joint there, the top of the shin, and gently pressing with the hands against that section of the leg so that we can move the chest forwards, bring the back ribs down into the body, keep the shoulders away from the ears. The option now of bringing the fingertips to the floor under the shoulders. If it's too low, keep the hands at the shins. With the big toe bases and the heels press into the floor so that the hands are very light in their contact with the floor. Don't allow yourself to sink into the hands or prop yourself up with the hands. And the head lifts, the back ribs move deeper into the body. And then that contact of the hands to the floor, you can re-engage there as if dragging the floor back towards the yoga mat so that the chest moves further forwards. And then hands back to the hips, return to your upright position and step your feet back in together, Tadasana, and then we'll go to Vajrasana. So kneeling with the knees together and the feet together and bringing your pelvis down onto your heels. Hands onto the fronts of the thighs, hands press against the thighs, shoulders roll back, back ribs in, and the chest lift up. We'll go to Parvatasana, and as we've been working for the last 2 or 3 weeks, we'll come into the pose with the elbows bent and the backs of the hands resting onto the top of the head. So the little finger side of each hand draw downwards towards the skull, the elbows move back towards the wall behind, both shoulders release down away from the ears, and then straighten your arms, keeping the interlock with the fingers, straighten the arms above the head. Thumb side of the wrist lift up, elbows lift up, armpit chest lift up, sides of the waist lift up. Maintaining that lift, bring the elbows back towards the wall behind you, and the upper chest move forwards towards the space in front. And then release the arms to the front down. We'll change the interlock over. And again, hands resting initially onto the top of the head, elbows back, shoulders down away from the ears, and then straighten the arms. Elbows straight, thumb side of the wrist lift up, thumb side of the wrist, each wrist lift up, armpit chest lift up, side ribs lift up, sides of the waist lift up. Keeping that height, bring the elbows back and the upper chest forwards. And then release the arms down. Let's go to Shavasana now. So lying on your back. Ideally you would have a blanket for the head. Today we're working with just the mat so the head can come down. Make sure that the chin is not lifting up. It can just a little bit tuck down towards the throat to keep the chin and forehead level. If you've got tighter upper back or shoulders, potentially you may need to put some height there under the back of the skull. Ideally the skull there, not on the hard floor but on the yoga mat. We've included a number of the standing poses in the sequence. In the standing poses, really looking to direct our attention out to the extremities of the body. We get a very clearly defined, articulated map of the hands and the feet. It's quite different though once we make the switch to Shavasana, where that definition starts to dissolve a little. Feel it first of all in the feet. Focus on the sensation there correlating to the toes, and differentiate the sensation there in the toes, but also in the spaces between the toes. Notice the surprising amount of feedback we get from that negative space in between the toes. See what is easier for your awareness to detect, the toes themselves or the space between the toes. Notice how the sensations tend to overlap. In a similar way with the fingers in a pose, as we did earlier, like downward facing dog pose, we're directing our attention not just to each finger, but the knuckles within each finger, feeling the different areas there within the palm of the hand. As we observe the hands here in Shavasana, less individuality to the different features within the hands and fingers themselves, more overlap, almost like more of a cloud-like sensation there of each hand. Not just the extremities, even the areas more directly hardwired into the nervous system, such as the eyes. Feel the feedback you get there from the front of the eye, where the eyelid, upper eyelid is. A lot of clear feedback there, sensation. The inner eye, where the tear duct region of the eye, again, good amount of feedback. The outer corner of the eye. And then classic Shavasana instruction, just allowing the eyeballs to descend, recede back deeper into the eye sockets. See to what degree your awareness is able to detect sensation related more to the back of the eyeball, or even behind the eyeball. Smooth, soft inhalation, smooth, soft exhalation. All right, and then a couple of slightly deeper in-breaths. And then from there, bend your knees, bring your feet flat to the floor. Hands across your chest or abdomen. Eyes open. And then roll to the side and up as you're ready. Thank you for practicing with Yoga Selection.